Anybody else smell that? Smells like desperation. Welcome back, everybody. Sunday night, and we got some Phobies viewer games. We also got some Phobies coffee. Let's see. We got 8,000 coffee. You know why? This guy's part of the content affiliate program. That means the Phobies team does, in fact, give me coffee for producing Phobies content, such as these viewer games and sometimes tournaments. I'll repeat it again. A couple of housekeeping things, maybe a few. I don't know. If people are interested in tournaments, let me know in my Discord. Ping me in the official Discord, whatever. If you want to play in tournaments, I don't have a problem running them, but I need to know that there's interest. I can't be trying to host tournaments for 8 people and 3 show up, or 16 and 4 show up, or 32 and 8 show up. You know, like 8 would probably be fine because we could still run an event, but you get the idea. Like, everybody says they're interested, and then nobody gets involved. I think the first party is having some difficulty with that with the official tournament because there's people who are notoriously just not showing up. Had that issue too. But speaking of the official Phobies tournament, I do want to review more of those games. So if you have them, if you're playing them, or if you have watched some of them and you think they're cool, let me know. You can do it through the official submission form in my Discord. You can just ping me and say, hey, take a look. Take a look at this game. I will take a look because I want to highlight it more. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I think it's good. But I can't go through all the games. Like, there's a lot of games. So, we'll see. But let's get into it. I will say on the note of the official tournament that there are some challenges with it, like even aside from people doing the normal shit that they do, which is just like dropping off the face of the earth and not paying attention, not following up, and blah, blah, blah. But one of the other things is there are some systemic problems, like the way the system is structured. One of the big things is because they elected to do single elim, which I'm not a fan of, but it is what it is. And they didn't structure it so that the buys are at the beginning, like round 1. Don't get me wrong, it kind of sucks to have buys that are, you know, it's a single elim tournament, they get a buy, I didn't, and therefore they get a free run into the next round. But it's worse to have it late in the event. I think that's got to get cleaned up. But anyway, let's get into this. We're going to jump in. We got a little dirty bean water action to lead us off as soon as I can find the game. And it happened to be the first one. Nice. The game was favorited. You love to see it. Dirty bean water, last rites, bad guy. Let's see what we got. Dynamic Speedola Duo Dominance. You almost had the alliteration, but obviously you had to. You'd had to do Stupendous Speedola. I can't think of an S word off the top of my head for a pairing. Because it would have to be like Stupendous Speedola something slapdown. Or maybe you just don't do the other. You don't do the pairing. Yeah, the pairing word. I would have used that as the intro for the video if I could have thought, what the f... Okay. I don't know what the purpose of that Gravedigger block is. I don't know what the purpose of that Gravedigger block is. Slap! Speedolas are fun. Speedolas are fun. I'm very anxious. The Phobies team has been slowly teasing the new Phobies. You know, like they did a few Reddit posts, maybe only one. I only saw the one, but I'm going to assume by the time this goes live that there were more. You got me. So I think it's cool that they're doing it and kind of doing like this hype thing. I don't like hype stuff. I don't like spoiler season, but I do think it is important to get people excited and interested in things. For the record, I don't know what the fuck bad guy is doing, but it is not working. They are getting pooped on. Like, not close. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Phobies team. So the Phobies team is, like, I do appreciate what they're doing. I just don't know. Like, I don't personally care. I know other people do. I am still of the opinion that, like, it's hard for me to get excited about a Phobie coming out when, like, I know, I mean, you know me by now if you've been watching these, that, like, I haven't played Phobies myself in a while, but the reality is, for the people that are playing Phobies religiously, it doesn't matter because that Phobie probably is not going to be good to go for, like, 6 months. And I think that their economic model is so entrenched that there isn't a way for them to resolve that at this point. What are we doing here? All right, we're sniping that. I don't... Yeah, I guess that's fine. That's fine. I like sniping the boom. They were going to get you with the zappy anyway onto the Speedola, so, I mean, it is what it is. Dude, it lived. That guy is so tanky. That boy is thick. What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know. I am excited for the new Phobies. It's frustrating that, like, we're not going to see them for God knows how long. We haven't had new Phobies in a while, so honestly, I'd be more excited if they did more balance passes to make some of the lesser used Phobies more viable, but it is what it is. It's fine. Ray Chargel's doing his thing. Speedola. Trade? Not even a trade. Good God. Bean. Brutal is more like it. Cooking bad guy. Bad guy still has 15 keys, though. It feels like so many things have happened in this game, and, like, still have 15 keys? That's wild. Dude, this is still not gonna die. How is this still not dead? Bro. What? I guess you don't want to turn off the panic point. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you could have done it, but it would have turned off the panic point, which you don't want to do, especially since our hero still has yet to cap their pocket panic point down here. I don't know if you really call this a pocket panic point. This is a long-ass pocket, if you count this one, but... Hold up. What? Timeout. 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 Oh, what? How are you going to talk about Speedolas? First of all, what in God's... What is happening? This is going to be the thumbnail. Hold on, let me... This is 100% going to be the thumbnail. Unless I come up with something and I forget. But, like... This is wild. What timestamp is this at? 21:30. About. Alright. How are you going to talk about Speedolas and not mention that you dropped a Zomboni on the board? Like... What? Come on. No love for Zomboni. I almost said Zamboni. That's a totally different thing. No love for Zomboni? For shame. Shame. The value. The value. By the way, why did this block ever happen? We started out the game with this insane Gravedigger block. The value on the Zomboni. I can't get over it. Dude, Honey Bear does no damage anyway! Yikes. Anybody else smell that? Smells like desperation. Because what is the plan here? Look at how much effort went into that. Look at everything they have to do to mimic a fraction of our power. You know, I've never watched Invincible, but the clips keep... I feel like I've watched the entire show because so many clips come up on YouTube when I watch it. I know Google now, and this has been the case for years now, but Google does allow people to... Wait, why are the speakers... Has nobody been getting sound this time? This whole time? Has nobody been... Dude, why were my speakers disabled? I hope my mic... Yeah, my mic is fine. I just looked over and I realized that this game sound was off. What the fuck? Oh, God. I must have disabled it when I was recording something by accident. What the hell was I saying? Oh, yeah. I know Google now, and again, this has been going on for years, but English language, allows people to basically pay to be at the top of the search results. And by people, I mean companies, obviously. I wonder if YouTube and other platforms like that, like, I mean, TikTok, who knows? Like, I wonder if YouTube Shorts, for example, or the suggested videos, you can pay to have it promoted. I feel like you can. Or, like, for example, like, I've never looked up a video about Invincible, ever. I probably will going forward, but specifically for the fighting game, because I'm very curious about the fighting game. But I haven't yet. But it was suggested at one point, and I'm like, or not suggested, like, it just came up as I was scrolling through, and I watched it. I'm like, this is interesting. And then, since then, it's been almost nonstop, and this is months ago. And it doesn't matter whether you watch them or not. Like, I don't know how to get it to reset to stop suggesting crap or stop dumping stuff in there. So I wonder if it's possible that, like... Because sometimes even if you scroll past something and don't actually watch even a full second of it, it just shows this type of content constantly. So I don't know if they, like, there has to be a way to do that. And given that Google's already doing that, I'm sure they're doing it other parts of their stuff. So Invincible is overrated for you. I didn't know, like, I've never seen anybody talk about it prior to me seeing these clips and things. So I didn't really have any context for it. It felt a little... I mean, again, I still haven't watched it. I still haven't read it. But it feels like... And I don't know the timing for this, but I already knew the DC Injustice story. Right? Which is evil Superman. Well, Superman goes berserk in the story and then turns into an authoritarian dictator, right? That's basically fucking Omni-Man, right? Except he always was and was tricking everybody. Good job, Luffy. By the way, I appreciate you you modding the long-ass stream yesterday and hanging out. I did catch that at the end. GG there, Beanwater. I obviously wasn't, like, I was playing for most of it, and then I scrubbed out, but, I did check chat periodically, like, it wasn't very often. A lot of people, I found for Star Wars, a lot of people, we'll come back to Invincible, but I found a lot of people will, they're more YouTube-focused than Twitch, which I think is just true, generally speaking. It's banger ambient noise. Was it a ton of, like, white noise? I haven't gone back and watched it yet. I do need to edit it to, like, cut out dead space and stuff, but, yeah, it felt like Invincible was, I already saw this story, which is fine. I don't have a problem with Superman is evil, and what the hell do we do? And clearly there's more to it. It just kind of felt a little weird. Because, and again, I don't know the full story, so maybe it makes more sense when you have a coherent thing, but, like, Superman is unrepentantly bad guy. Unrepentantly evil in Injustice. Like, once he makes the heel turn, he is not fucking coming back. Whether it's the show, like they did an animated series, or the game. He is not coming back. However, Omni-Man does the whole... Invincible felt like if a kid watched The Boys and thought, what if I was in it, but, like, good? As Invincible, you mean? Like, if the kid was invincible? I mean, I think it's interesting to, like... I don't have a problem with it. And I found Invincible before I found The Boys. And both of them are, like, they obviously, all three have parallels, because it's what if Superman was evil? Because nobody can contest him. What I find ridiculous is all the people that are like, well, what... Everybody seems to hate Homelander, and it's like everybody would beat Homelander's ass. And it's like, I having not watched shows, I don't know. And it does sound like Homelander is supposed to be on a lower power level, but, like... I feel like Invincible and The Boys are offering two different types of commentary. Yes. I mean, my point that I was going to make is that when Omni-Man, spoiler alert for anybody who cares, when Omni-Man makes his hero turn afterwards, it seemed kind of weird, but I was coming at it from the perspective of, like, Superman never went back to being good. I mean, he did sort of in the animated one. And I don't know what the crystallizing moment for Omni-Man was. And what's weird to me is, like, so for Superman, in Injustice, he went ballistic because the Joker killed Lois and their unborn child. Okay, so he goes off the deep end and then goes, I'm stopping crime, full stop, and I'm murdering everyone who prevents me. Okay. He becomes this authoritarian dictator, he takes over the world, blah, blah, blah. In the show, when he has his hero turn, it's because they go to another, and again, spoilers, they go to another dimension, they bring pregnant Lois, who actually lost Superman, he died fighting Doomsday, to this universe, and, like, she talks him down, and it's like, okay, there's this emotional moment, and that's, like, the only person who could possibly get through to him, because he's so far gone with grief. And then he, like, allows himself to go into prison. I don't know what the Omni-Man one is, because, and again, not having watched it, and this is not really fair to it, so he has that fight with his son, and then his son says whatever about, like, after 10,000 years, I'll still have you, or some shit. Okay, there's this emotional moment with his son. But that has never fucking happened before. Isn't this guy, like, 8,000 years old? Fathered a bajillion kids with all different species because they're trying to repopulate their world? Or their entire species? It just feels weird, and again, because I haven't watched it, maybe there's more context I'm missing, but it's like, I understand, coming from the previous one, it felt like this one was kind of forced, because it's like, oh yeah, well the humans are the special ones, so that's what wins his heart. And it's like, well what the fuck, why couldn't it be any of the 8 billion other species? Honestly, that would have been more interesting. Because they're not here, because I just, like, it's more fun for me when it's the aliens, and not, oh look, it's the humans again. The Boys is also very different from The Boys in the show and the comic. Yeah, exactly. They've kind of diverged, and from what I've heard, like, people don't hate it as compared to, oh, well, this isn't like the book, or the book isn't like the movie or whatever, and therefore it's crap. Viltrumites, Omni-Man are just about conquering the galaxy. Nothing is about saving themselves. Right, but that's exactly what I'm saying. So if that is the mentality, and then now the human son gets through to him and says, hey, this isn't right, why did that not happen before? Because he's clearly, he even says, like, I've conquered however many planets in the Viltrumite's name, right? And I presume that he was doing the whole infiltration thing every time. This is like the 6-phase plan from fucking Transformers from now 25 years ago, almost. So I don't get why, and again, I do know why. It's for the sake of the story. It's like my dad used to say when I would ask him, how come the villain doesn't just kill James Bond? And he'd be like, because then there wouldn't be a fucking movie. Like, if the villain just shot him in the head the first time, guess what? There ain't no more movie. Like, I think most people prefer the show over the comics, but I think the comics ending is a potentially interesting psychology deep dive if done correctly, but adapting would be hard, and even comic fumbles it. Well, I mean, yeah. Complex things are complex, right? All right, let's do some viewer games. We can keep talking about it, but let me... I started a little early, and I wanted to make sure we get through stuff, but... Oh, man, I got the fucking hiccups, dude. Painful Fate. That was a painful fate. Thinking about, like, I don't know about you guys, but growing up, there was, oh, by the way, the notes are Brutewurst getting another show off. Okay. When I was a kid, I remember there were tons, and when I say tons, I mean like dozens of stories of people having the hiccups for decades. Like somebody who's 50 years old and has had the hiccups their entire life. And it was like, you know the meme about how everybody says, oh, well, quicksand, I was led to believe as a child that quicksand was going to be this much bigger problem than it actually was. That's what the hiccups were like. It was the same sort of thing where it was, well, oh no, you got the hiccups. You're never going to get rid of them. It's like, it's so weird. That's the same reason I hate all the side characters. It works better in a comic where I assume my imagination can do a lot, but for the show, I binged 3 hours and characters 300% different than what they were at the start. I mean, I get that. I can kind of understand that. You do have to, like, you want the character development, though. I guess it depends on what you mean by change. Comic stories are cool. I really like them on film. There are a lot of book and comic stories. I guess you could just lump them together, but I'm clarifying to people understand literature as well as comic books that I would love to see adapted to specifically animated series. I think it would be better to do that than to do it as live action, because I think that there are it's not that you couldn't have an actor do something or use special effects to do it, but I think it would just look better for a lot of these stories animated. I'm confident the Odyssey is animated somewhere. I guarantee if I go upstairs, my wife will know it off the top of her head. Also, I don't know if Brutewurst is even good here. I guess it's not bad. There's 2 undeads in a dimensional. Is Brutewurst oppressive now? I don't know if I'm dehydrated or I ate too much, but the stomach doesn't feel right. My tum-tum is bothering me. My tummy-tum. Not bad. Do you think Bad Guy thought that Stabby was safe? I think Bad Guy thought Stabby was safe. Welcome to the barbecue. Does Brewers fit in the Fallout universe? Kind of seems like it would fit in the Fallout universe. Dude, this guy hates wieners. Leave Painful Fate's wiener alone. That guy needs to stop touching that wiener. Nice. A cool 1 damage. Contortio, the ultimate kill stealer. By the way, that guy's just fucking cooked. Bad guy's cooked. 4 keys left, 2 phobies. Hero with 6. There's no spa on this map, so unless we get a Contortio... Dude, why? I don't know about that one, Chief. Why sheep? I mean, I guess it's fine. It's I guess it's a tanky-er 4 key. I don't know. But with a panic point advantage, our hero can just kind of wait. Yep, there's a Clinico. That guy has to advance in, and they will get a freeze, but, like... It's our hero's game to lose. There's freeze number 1. It is kind of obnoxious because that obscures the stem. You're not going to have great dive options here, but again, they have to come to you, and you're going to be able to do the AoE disease. Bad guy's being patient about this, but I don't think it matters. I'm not going to lie. I don't believe it will make a difference. Brute Worst is going to get at least a 2 for here. Yeah, only 2. You can't get the Yeti here. It's possible the Murderwing just straight up dies. Yeah, you got to reposition here. You don't want to eat the big hit from the stemmed sheep. I do kind of like the 2-1 rather than the single 3 previous turn. So Eternal Night into the Bachelor, but I don't know. Like, I don't know that Eternal Night's really where you want to be at. Oh my god, this Brute Worst, dude. What? Wow. Oh man, putting in work. Another disease. Somebody get this man some penicillin. Another heal? Ah! Wow. I mean, it worked out. Brute Worst. How about that? GG. Well played. Well played. Painful Fate submitted like 12 games. I think they asked me in Discord what, like, if you don't get to a game, will you do it next week? Yes, we've been doing this for over 3 years now. Or almost, is it almost? What years did fucking Phobies come out? 2000? Was it 22? Or was it 23? Is this the 3rd anniversary or the 4th anniversary? Dude, I'm honest to God, don't remember. All right. We got somebody new to Viewer Games on Phasmophobia, superpiggy. I don't know why I said their name like that, but it felt appropriate. Went from losing position to locking the opponent in the middle of the map. Dude, this game is from July 15th. It's been almost 30 days. At least at the time of this recording. I'm sure by the time you watch it, it'll be more than that. It will certainly be more than that. Superpiggy. I hope you have a cape. Contrary to what What's-Her-Face in The Incredibles says, capes are cool. Cloaks, really? It's better as a cloak, where you can, like, wrap it around yourself, where, like what Batman has is cool. What Superman has is stupid. And while I appreciate the concerns about physical safety, if you are a metahuman and you are virtually indestructible, it's probably a larger concern for everybody on that plane about you getting sucked into the jet turbine. Just saying. Probably their problem. Hashtag just saying. Oh, chat. I gotta decide what I'm gonna do about card games, because I'm kind of... I had a moment earlier, like this month, where... I mean, I've talked about it before, but I just don't... You know what? I'll save it for after this game. I'm just not feeling card games right now. Just play Hearthstone. Real talk, I've been considering playing Hearthstone. If they, I swear to you, if they had a tournament scene that I could feasibly play in, I probably would. I want to stream card games, but I can't. We've talked about it before. Woolly Bully. Do we have a pig phobie? It's funny that we have sheep and gas. Like, I do like that. But how many more barnyard animals do we have? We don't have a cow phobie, right? Dude, what if we got an undead pig and an undead cow? Like, they do an old McDonald theme, and they get, like, Phobies go to the farm, and you get, like, all undead cows and pigs and chickens. I mean, I guess we have undead chickens. We got Fowl and Clucknoris and Cassowary. How funny would an undead cow be? If my wife could hear it, she would laugh because that's a bold move there, Bag. I guess this is where the losing position begins. I don't love our hero's aggression with the cat. That being said, the cat can kind of backdoor this panic point. I'm assuming you don't have access to Shove Shark or anything like that. This isn't even really a terrible position, to be honest, given that the Rambo is powered down. Yeah, I don't love that. Is Boop on cooldown? We're gonna find out, but like, I don't. That's not gonna work out. If Boop is live, that's gonna have some unfortunate ramifications. Zomburger, I love it. I love it. Its power, whatever it is just called Tenderize. It's on cooldown. All right, safe. Beyond cow. No, it has to be impossible something. We need a cow pun about the impossible burger. Because that fits that it's undead, right? Like, that has to be... I want a fake meat undead cow. I feel like that would be a little too gross for Phobies. Like, if you look at the fleshy undead... Tofurkey. Jeez, that just sounds like... That sounds like an undead creation. If you look at the undead Phobies in this game, like, yeah, Cerberus, High Five, Gravedigger, they're stitched together, but they're not, like... graphically disgusting. Even Ted and Jill and Ted are like, they're probably as bad as it gets. That's a Metabot. When was the last time we saw a damn Metabot? This definitely feels like bad guys trapped in here with you, sort of. The High Five is kind of scary. Dude, bad guy. Our hero dropping the Cleveland Steamer here. Power down on the High Five. That is, like... Okay, so the High Five still does AoE, and it still has high damage output, but, like, that is a big damage reduction because of the... Like, how much damage is lost because of the way that functions. That cat has been going down there doing work for, like, the last 15 minutes. All right, so what's the game plan here now that you've kind of trapped them down here? And by trap them, I mean they're threatening the heart. That power down is going to turn off soon. All right, I thought we were going to do that, yes. Now bad guy is in a weird spot because they have to rearrange everything. Because you can't just punch through Fish Tank very easily. What are we doing? What is bad guy doing? Like, they're just spreading damage everywhere. You need to get the hell out of Dodge, man. Baby, what is you doing? Got him. I love these low-level games that are just, like... They're all over the place. This is ridiculous. This is fun. Boop. You know, I never made that like a redemption or anything like that. The boop. Dude, just punch the heart! It doesn't matter. You got him anyway. Okay, seriously. Like, my stomach is starting to actually bother me now. Like, I feel like I'm gonna vomit. Maybe I ate too many almonds. If you've been around here long enough, you know I have a problem. Like, I'll eat too many fucking peanuts or pistachios. Today was almonds. You know how much salt is on those goddamn things? Like, even if you get the lightly salted ones, dude, like, I like salt. I like when food is salty, but it felt like I was just straight up eating, not this one, but like in the past. Like, if I just took the top off of the salt shaker and just started chugging it. Why did the sound cut out? Ball game! Well done, Super Pig. GG. I hope your first foray into viewer games was everything you hoped it would be. All right, we're back with a little more Captain Cobra. Cobra Commander, as it were. Creepy Devil, my goat. Was that you commenting about Creepy Devil on the last viewer game video? Because somebody did, and they were so excited about Creepy Devil. I assume so. I have, like, what is this? Fucking... My work headset is, like, disintegrating. Like the earpieces. So, like, I keep finding little pieces of it stuck to everything. It's just an old headset, so, like, I gotta get it replaced. It functions, so I feel silly asking for one, and it doesn't, like, hurt. It's just that, like, the fake leather that's on the foam parts is disintegrating. It's just old. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we've seen Creepy Devil... maybe ever on... I'm sure we've seen it at some point. I don't know. On the floor is lava. The floor is duty. Oh, man. I'm tired of this humidity and the heat. And looking forward to the winter. The problem with winter is there's too much shit going on. Like... for me, there's a lot of birthdays, and there's a lot of, like, you know, like, all the holidays are at the end of the year, and, like, all this shit. I think I'd feel better if all those things were in the months I don't like. Then it's like, get all that shit out of the way, and then I can just chill in the other months. Snipe with the Creepy Devil. Just, like, slapping the shit out of that worm. Wish there was a digital card game that didn't feel bad. I might have to go back to Magic Arena. Do choices matter? I have considered playing Magic. I meant to talk about Hearthstone, but remind me after this game. You're greatly confused. Confused by what? Like, strategy, the economy, or what? Because they have, like, some weird systems. The thing is, I don't like the Magic play patterns. Maybe modern, like... more modern Magic, not like format modern. I hate that they called it that. So fucking annoying. Phases and lands. The phases are archaic. It's a reason... like, every modern card game has moved away from that. They have phases, but they don't really matter. You know, it's like, you have your start of turn phase where you draw a card. Okay. Nothing else happens. And then it's your main phase where you do fucking everything. And then it's your end phase where end of turn things happen. And that's it. Whereas in Magic, it's very rigid. I mean, you could math that out, Atona. I don't know. Maybe it's weirder that you're mathing it out. Pop goes the cassowary. Have the dwarves delved too deep? Dude, Halfy just sucks. People need to stop with Halfy. Our hero is not in a great spot here. I mean, I guess, can you kill this Halfy? Do you have enough damage? All right, Halfy's dead. I do appreciate the fucking stones. Just putting the... Here's the thing, like, is that actually a risky position for the creepy devil? Like, in what reality, what madman is gonna put her creepy devil there? Right? But then again, it's also so obvious, because, like, you as the orange player are never gonna put somebody there, right? It's crazy. That's so good. I love that. This creepy devil's racked up like 4 kills, maybe? I do love trapping the spider there. They can spread a little poison, but with only 3 keys and a Contortio besides the spider, you're not making it through this. Yeah, Luffy, if you're struggling with Magic, like, with the way the systems work, it's because they're bad. And, like... Richard Garfield is a mathematician. That's what he has his PhD in. You can understand why he created some of the systems that he did the way he did. I mean, aside from the fact that, like, nobody gets the best version of something the first try, right? So something like hard game design is going to be iterative, and he's going to end up, you know, like, here's the first idea, and this works. And then after you play a few billion games, you realize, oh, actually, this is worse than if I did this other thing. And then that's why we end up with all these games. GG there, CC. Well done. But the point is that we've evolved past that from game design perspective. The problem is that Magic is the only game that is not property-based that is big, in my mind. Pokemon's property-based, Yu-Gi-Oh's property-based, Lorcana's property-based. If Star Wars technically is bigger than Lorcana, that's property-based. All the other ones have fallen by the wayside. Flesh and Blood is probably the only other big one, and that I don't consider that big. However, I think that it's just due to inertia, and I've talked about this before. But Hearthstone, I would like to get back into it. I think I can emotionally handle the variance. But if there isn't a tournament scene, I can't grind ladder. Like, I just don't care enough. I need to be playing for a reason, which would be to prepare. Like, if I play ladder, I want to use it to prepare for a tournament. If it's playing random games, it needs to be preparing for a tournament, because the tournament is the focus. I hate the Hearthstone tournament format, and I don't even know that there are Hearthstone tournaments anymore. I'm sure they exist, but I can't find them. And that's the problem. And the way the game was designed, even when they were doing tournaments and they had their circuit, was that they were designing cards for the multi-deck format, Conquest, and therefore they just kind of accepted that, hey, these are silver bullets that completely fucking shut down a deck, because you'll be able to play that deck again in game 2 or something. And it's just like, I don't like that. I think that bothers me almost as much as the variants, but I think I can live with the variants now. Phases don't bother me. Lands feel weird, but I like lands more than getting a free resource every turn in zero resource games like Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, that's fine. Like, if you prefer that, I don't think that's wrong. I don't agree. I'd rather get the resource every turn, but they need to do something with it. And that's part of the other issue. I was not arguing with, but I was talking to Karst about this today, and, like, I think the larger problems with Hearthstone and other digital card games is that they limit themselves on design space because they refuse to have certain card archetypes. You know, like, if you don't have hand disruption and you get a free resource every turn, you're going to get these OTK decks. That's what happens. Because if you don't, it just ends up into extremely linear gameplay that is boring. Yeah, Benbro designs terrible card games. Like, they are bad games. They are not fun. Magic is property-based now, true, but it took a long time for that. Yeah, I don't know. We're rehashing a lot of conversations that I've had on stream before, and it's all the same thing. I have seriously looked at playing Hearthstone again. I don't mind it in the abstract. I think I can handle the things that bothered me before, at least in small doses, but I don't know. I will just end up not playing after a while, and not because, like, oh, this game sucks, I don't want to play it anymore. It'll be, I'm bored of this because I don't want to just grind ladder. So I'm going to assume the next person is dearh because the name is dearh, D-E-A-H. And that person hasn't played since February of 2023. So I'm going to assume it's dearh because it's so close. And we'll see. It is. Womp womp. All right, dearh is our hero on rugged footing. Interesting. I don't think I've seen a game on this map yet. Have we? I don't remember seeing a game on this map. I was driven into a corner by my opponent, but one Phobies changed the whole game outcome. Quote, unquote. I feel like refusing to have counterspells has ruined every online card game. I think it can... We've had this... We're going through the same conversations. I think it can be done. They are choosing a variety of game decisions, and they are all compounding to lead to the same problem. I think... I agree with you. I would rather play Vintage and Legacy. I mean, I have this argument with people every time that card games come up. This happened yesterday. It happened today. I'm arguing with people that control decks are fine, removal heavy decks are fine, and I personally find mid-range decks to be more miserable when they are the dominant ones in the meta. And everyone's responding, oh no, the removal decks are bad, the removal decks are bad. And well, I think it really is some level of Stockholm Syndrome where I was there when the Deep Magic was written and Drago was invented. Like, I was there when literally the deck, it was called the deck, was invented. Not literally in the room, but I was playing at that time. And you haven't lived through, like, mind-numbing control decks until you played Mirage Tempest era Drago, where they had literal counterspells up and down the curve. I guess you could argue Force of Will when that was still in Standard. I don't know. I agree that those formats feel more Magic-like, but that's because that was the Magic that I played. The problem, and I do think that, ironically, the high power level of Vintage and Legacy kind of solves a lot of the variance issues. Maybe relevant, but Hearthstone at the moment is frustratingly balanced for veteran players. We miss the outlier cards and decks that will warp the meta for a week or two until balance. Balance is a funny thing because balance isn't inherently good. I'm arguing that in Star Wars right now. Because, I mean, putting aside balanced isn't inherently fun. It depends on what the balance is. So I posed a question in the card games forum or channel today in my Discord. Right now, Force Throw is one of the dominant cards. It is the defining, like, unequivocally the defining pillar of the format right now for Star Wars Unlimited. I could go into a lot of stats, but just take it at face value. It's the defining card. And there are a number of matchups where if I'm playing a Force Throw deck and you're playing a non-Force Throw deck, if I draw a single Force Throw, I win. If I do not see a Force Throw, I can't win. And obviously these absolutes are being extreme because there's a lot of variance and stuff like that. But it's pretty close. That is technically balanced because the way the matchups end up playing out in the macro, it is miserable and not fun. Because it is completely outside of your control whether you win or lose the game. Because it's entirely contingent on, did they draw this? Did they? Yes, I lose. Did they not? Okay, I win. Gotta Russell. Masterdarksh, welcome back. It's been a while. Mid-range is fine, too. The thing is, you need good control decks to keep with mid. Yeah, but it depends on how hard the rock, paper, scissors is. I know we've talked about, like, perfect play and blah, 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 and that definitely plays in, but, like, you can't sit down and go, this game doesn't matter. Because this is how the archetypes play out. Map is the weirdest one I ever saw. Fun, but weird. It definitely is a weird map. First zone balance isn't always meant what is fun for player experience. I use solitaire. Yeah, I mean, the solitaire decks, they do try and cripple them. But there's only so much they could do. Because of the decisions they made. Like, if they don't have ways to interact with the hand, solitaire decks are going to show up. And then it's just a question of, are you faster? Like, either you have the disruption or you're faster. Those are the only ways to beat it, right? Because there are no counter spells, assuming no secrets. There are no, if there's no hand disruption, there's nothing like that. Cool burb. You've never seen Russell before, Tona? You had to have seen Russell before. All right, we got the Akira play that we're all waiting for. Rambo was, like, wildly out of position. Honestly, dearh, I feel like that is what won you this game. Your opponent deciding that they didn't feel like having Rambolina in the game. Interesting thing on this map is that a very big amount of play style can work if you put in the effort. I assume you mean varied play styles? Like, what? Big ol' Hevo hit! Dropping the hammer here. Getting the challenge play to pull yourself off of... Oh, baby. Pulling yourself off of the transition tile. The move tile, not a problem. Jill and Ted, for God knows what reason. But we do have a 5-0 panic point advantage. dearh is going to be taking a beating. I really felt like a panic Akira pull. I don't know why they panicked. They had the panic point advantage. They boxed our hero into the corner. They could have just waited a turn. Like, I don't think it was necessary. There's a lot of hand disruption, but they make cards based on what is getting rotated out. So 2 years after disruption is made, when they are getting rotated to wild mode, they will not make OTK decks. I mean, they should be designing in that fashion, but didn't you guys just come out of a meta where it was like a gazillion OTK decks? Yeah, but that doesn't... They weren't going to die right then. I think they had time... I mean, we'd have to go back and look at the exact health totals. But it felt like they had time to make it happen if they so chose. I think their bottom line is their positioning, the way they ended that turn was just not great. We don't talk about the OTK here. And we've talked a lot about Russell being problematic, but I wonder, like, is Russell acceptable as a... Also, I don't think I've ever recalled seeing Ted walk in front of a tile like that. I mean, he's obviously see-through in the middle, but I always wondered, like, is it just related to the map tile set? And it's really, like, it's opaque and then it doesn't change, but I saw the tile go behind him. So what I was saying is I wonder if Russell is, like... Is it an acceptable Akira response? And is that... I still don't feel that Russell is very healthy design. I've never liked it from a design aspect, but... We've been bullshitting a lot and haven't actually watched that many games. Beanofevil versus Knuckle Roar Death. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Was practicing for the tournament when I had this match against Nuclear. A good showcase of exchange rate with Kerbloom coming in very handy. All right, let's see it. Let's see it. I think Russell is most importantly obnoxious. And there's just no fun fighting a phobia that automatically win rate in some games. That is a blanket statement that could be applied to literally, well, not literally, but figuratively, almost every phobia in the game. There are a lot of phobies that... Now, we are kind of splitting hairs with the explanation here of... Because there are, by comparison, say Akira. There are games that Akira just wins, and there's nothing you can do about it, because it just so happens that way. And there are a lot of phobies that will fit that description, and we're just splitting hairs on where the line is. I'm not gonna lie, Bean feels like you're getting like a shit ton of value out of this. Is Akira a good response to Akira? It used to be. In fact, it kind of was one of the only responses. It depends on what era of phobies we're talking about. I'm telling you, like, I wish that Phobies had, I was saying earlier about how I'm frustrated with card games, and I keep thinking, like, I could just be playing Phobies. But I don't want to grind ladder. I really want to, I want to play in tournaments. And I understand they're running this first-party tournament. I did have I could have played, but I just didn't have the real-life time. But I want regular ones. I don't want this... I hope that they run more. I don't want this to be a one-off Phobies tournament where they do it, like, annually or something like that, because that's... I don't know. Akira, you have to think you're pulled to do very big damage, and Stalemate, Russell just wins freely the moment it hits the board. No thinking, no need to do a good play. You just wait a turn. I mean... I think we can both agree that Akira was an I win button for a very, very long time. Even in Akira Mirrors. It naturally made things more complex in Akira Mirrors. However, there was a long stretch of time where it's just like, you plop Akira on the board, and your opponent would have to hide in the fucking corner. You know there's formats for that Atona, right? Like, there's, like, Magic 93, but I think there's one for the 2000s era format. It's basically just whatever was legal at the time. What is going on here? Like, why are there Minotaurs? Why is the double Bad Omen? Like, what are we doing? Were you guys in comms for this game? This is like that Goofy meme. Where he's like, huh, I'll fucking do it. All right, we got a Kerbloom. Are we going to connect? Pow. This game was bizarre. Minotaur is actually good. Well, Flail, if Minotaur's good, I imagine, well, I'd have to look at the stats. I don't remember what, like, Flail's damage to health is compared to Minotaur. I assume Minotaur's more tanky, but does less damage. Yeah, I can see why it's doing well. I think this is the first game I've seen on this map. It's just funny that, like, I haven't seen a Minotaur in God knows how long. At least not, like, a serious one. I will say that I appreciate when maps are designed in this way, where, like, if Minotaur, like, this is now a Minotaur map, it's nice that these things are encouraged. Like, on one hand, I like that, hey, we're getting these maps that say Minotaur or Flail, or even Bad Omen, whatever. They are elevated. The issue is, in the same way that cars and a lot of people are sick of Gravedigger maps, we're kind of sick of, like, you'll get sick of this. It just feels fresh because it's a different phobie than Gravedigger. Whereas here, it's Minotaur or whatever. This map is really aggressive. It seems like it. I mean, Bean's early control of this map was kind of never really relinquished. There was a point where Nuclear was able to get ahead on panic points, but it did feel like Bean was ahead most of this game and just kind of pushing that advantage from the bully position. GG. Interesting. Very interesting. That's a map I'd like to see more of. Alright, speaking of Master Dark. Master Dark on the Burning Rings. Sounds like somebody ate something a little too spicy. The healer did some little favoritism. I don't know what that means. Oh, this is the map for the tournament. Wait, was it this map you're saying? The rings or the previous one? I don't know when you posted that comment. I could go check in Discord, I guess, but I'm going to crowdsource it because I'm a streamer and I'm going to do that. 7 viewers. Not bad. The previous one, okay. I was going to say, because Bean said that they were practicing on that map, and I'm like, well, if it's this map, why were you practicing on the other one? Like, what are you doing? Baby, what is you doing? I kind of like the format of locking the maps, but I don't know. I think the ideal format for Phobies tournaments is what I did for Fright Night back in the day. Best 2 of 3, map bans, all that fun stuff. But honestly, people are just ding-dongs, and it is not worth the level of effort and involvement for a casual weekly tournament. I don't know why, but this map, I'd be way more happy with Burning Ring. Oh, as the tournament map? Why do you say that? This map feels... I don't want to... Like, I'm going to say obvious. It seems weird to describe a map like that, but it feels like... How have we not gotten this sort of map design prior to this? Best 2 of 3 with map choices. Yeah, I modeled it after real-time strategy games, which have maps inherently, and they favor certain strategies or whatever, and I think that that is the best way to do it, but you can only do what you can do. Boop! Get wrecked. Nerd. Exchange rate seems way less amusing once you play player 2 in exchange rate. So is this, is Exchange Rate Pluto Part 2? It's based on your comments, that's what it sounds like. People did kind of come around on Pluto, I think. Dude, did your Hevo get cooked? I guess not. Otherwise, bad guy would have gone for it there. Besides, the map is just the same thing every time. I mean, people said that for Coulrophobia, and Karst swears up and down that that's not the correct way to play it. I think you give it time. This too shall pass. Second Metabot on the evening. I was wondering what you were, like, why you stayed instead of double move, but that, alright, I can get behind it. I was going to make a comment about this map, but I think half the maps are jockeying for center control anyway. Yeah. Coulro has way more variety. Coulrophobia has had time to make more variety. Come on, let's be real. Coulrophobia for the longest time, and maybe even still now, was turret push. That's all you saw on ladder. No one even remotely tried anything else. And then Karst and some other Sum of All Fears 3 people insisted, oh, well, you can do this thing to beat it. And people still turret pushed. Most of the panic points on this map seem free. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. They seem as though, like, for example, the northern and southern panic points feel like they will be held by whoever has them starting at the mid-game for a long time. Must be nice to have displacement tools. Funny how Metabot was the only good healer there. I mean, it made the most sense. But to be honest, I forget Metabot exists. I'd be lying to you if I said I ever thought about Metabot in a healing scenario. Unless somebody does it, obviously. It's the only one that could heal 2.0 enough. Well, it was the only one that could even heal him. Full stop. Like, I think you could, if you double moved Hevo, you would have gone 1-2, 1-2. You would have ended up on your panic point and you would have been able to heal it. But the range, yeah, like, it was just convenient that it worked out that way. Little flesh crawler action. I think we need more abomination style phobies like flesh crawler. We don't have that many, I think, that are just like these eldritch monstrosities. I mean, some of them are, you know, you could put jammy fish in that category, for example. It is supposed to be like a space jellyfish, but it's also like, okay, that's not a thing. I don't know if there are enough, like does Boo Fairy count? We'd have to come up with the criteria for what constitutes a monstrosity, I guess. Tentacles would probably be part of it. This was pretty well played, Master Dark. Like, a lot of this feels very measured in the sense that, like, that push, for example, felt very controlled. That you're able to go in, accomplish your task, and you're probably just going to walk away virtually unscathed. Unless can bad guy get this Jin Sting? They can, but they're going to be, like, wildly out of position. I guess Tentacles is down, so they're not that out of position. You don't have the AoE. Alright, maybe bad guys got a better play than I thought they did. Jammy seems kind of eldritch in some way, but still kind of cute. Yeah, I mean, I think that like, we all know what a jellyfish looks like, right? So there's still a level of familiarity with it, even though it's a space jellyfish. As compared to Flesh Crawler, where it's just like, what in God's name is that fucking thing? Wait, is Metabot not off cooldown yet? Why didn't you heal? Did I miss a second heal and it's on cooldown again? It should have been off cooldown. I think. I must have missed a second heal somewhere. Bad guy's in a little bit of trouble. That's 2 7-key phobies to probably like 7 keys. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? 6, 8, 10. Nice. We've been seeing a lot of challenge plays to pull people off of dangerous tiles here. Normally, when we see challenge plays, it's like, oh, I get a kill into another kill or something like that. But here, like, the challenge play pull to reposition off of the conveyor tiles, or here to, like, get off of the lava tile. I like those. Somehow this game goes on 2 more turns. Metabot did heal 3 times. Gotcha. All those heals are on Evo? Yeah. Makes sense. As they should be. I wonder how much Flesh Crawler is modeled after the Thing. I'm curious. GG. Alright, what do we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, we're gonna do some Painful Fate games. We got a few. I didn't block out, like, which games I was gonna watch. Oh, Jesus. Alright, anybody got any funny topics to talk about? This is a fucking 36-turn game. Good God, I thought this might be a 36-turn set of notes. I thought that my final nail in the coffin would be because of the panic points, but after waiting for multiple turns, I finally break through my opponent. Alright. Evo 2.0 just took twice is HP. I assume it's his value, HP value in the whole game, and still has half HP. Yeah. I still have 5 Painful Fate, and I thought I might try to put 1 too. It's allowed. It's allowed. It was a good game. It was a good game. Phobopolis games tend to not be good games. They tend to not be good games. Hey, I don't know. This is something that I think I disagree with Karston. I think these sort of maps should exist. Like these standoffish maps. Like, it's okay to not like every type of map. Because other people like them. From a first-party perspective, it becomes a question of, am I making enough people happy, or am I making too many people unhappy by including this thing? But I think it's okay to have it. I just don't personally like them. The problem with map bans is they need to make all the maps available. And there are 2 issues with that. One, there's way too many fucking maps. Like, if you look at StarCraft or Warcraft, at any given time in 1v1, there's, I don't know, 10 or 12 maps, maybe. And you usually get somewhere between, like, 3 and 5 bans. In tournaments, it would be, like... it would be... like, best of whatever, say it's best of 3, there would be 5 maps and you each ban 1. If it was best of 7, there might be 9 maps and you each ban 2 or something like that. But when you're talking about ladder games, it's going to be, no, like I said, 10 to 12, and then you ban 3 to 5. I don't think the player base can support it from a matchmaking perspective, A, and B, like... especially as the number of maps grow, it would be very easy to have somebody say, hey, I like Phobopolis, but 99.9% of the population has it banned and you just never fucking get to play on it. Or because of both small populations and quantity of maps, I think the combinations could lead to a lot of people sitting in queues for 1 billion years. And that kind of already is an issue at some levels. So... It's tough. Unless they rotated, be like, okay, here's the month-long map rotation. And you can do bans within that. So, like, here's 10, 12, 15 maps. Ban some number of them. And then you play on this. And then they would be grouped into categories. And I think that that's something that would go a long way to fixing... the map design and issues, is just saying, like, if Gravedigger is going to be a core phobie where it is influencing map design to the degree that it is, I think you need to just make Gravedigger maps a category, right? Everybody starts with Gravedigger. There's no harm in doing that other than boredom of having that happen. And it's like, okay, well, if the very first thing you do every game is spawn Gravedigger and break this block, why do we even have the block? Just have it start not blocked. But it is a way to artificially reduce the number of keys because you are, quote unquote, required to have a Gravedigger. And I think that that is an interesting manipulation of the resource system through map design. I highly doubt they're doing it this way, but I'm just defending the idea. So the point is, you silo the maps into these categories of Gravedigger map, pillar map. So we're talking like Opticon, Big House, Vile Vortex, number 11, or whatever number it is, you know, that sort of thing. Then you have displacement maps where, I'm not saying the once lore, but like ones where, yeah, you really are battling over displacement things. And but the intent is, I don't want to, so we were saying whatever that map, the newer map earlier is now, I'll label it a Minotaur map. You don't want to require an individual phobie. You want to require a type of phobie. So a displacement phobie, a terraforming phobie, an AoE phobie, a flying phobie, a poison phobie, a healing phobie, whatever. And that way it allows people to attack it in multiple ways, but it also requires a deeper roster, oddly enough, on the phobie side, like the game piece side, to ensure that it isn't just you must have this phobie to ride this ride. I think that's a more interesting way to go about things, but I don't know that it's really feasible with, as always, the current economic model. That's always going to be the problem, is like the economic model for the game is just crippling. And then there's also just a philosophical debate of, like, what should be dictating... Sort of weird noise. There's a philosophical debate of what should be dictating the phobie choices for a given player. Is it what your opponent puts on the board and what your strategy is? Or is it what the maps tells you need to do? The reality is it's going to be a combination of all those factors and probably a few others, because you can't just do whatever the hell you want on certain maps. If you choose certain phobies, like if you choose a phobie on the rings map that we were just looking at that don't fly or don't have like exceptional movement or something, you're probably going to get cooked. Because your opponent will jump out way ahead of you, will have the defensive position that you need to fight into, and they already have control of the panic points. And it can cause issues. Or displacement goes in that category too, compared to other maps. But we can clearly design maps to exacerbate that or try and prevent it. And the question is, which one is better? And I don't know. All right, our hero... We're like 2/3 of the way through this game. We haven't really commented anything about the game because this is a 36-turn game, and I'm not going to lie, my eyes immediately glazed over. There was a lot of stuff going on in this game, so I'm mostly just being an ass and memeing about it. That's actually a pretty cool play. This seems like a very calculated setup so that bad guy is unable to pull in the way that they want to snipe this hematic / Hevo. It was a cool attempt. Does not appear that it got the job done. Slap. I think Blinky goes in the Eldritch Monster category. Blinky actually looks like it could be from Look Outside, which is another game I need to stream. I think I've decided I'm pretty sure I've completed everything to start the actual, like, end game, and fight the final boss. So I kind of want to do that. I'm pretty close to starting an offline save file, just because I want to try some of the other stuff. There's a ton of characters, because now a bunch of YouTube accounts are doing videos about it, and there's a ton of characters that are recruitable. Like, you can get them to join the party that I never had the opportunity to. Like, I was trying desperately to get the cockroaches to join the team, but I can't. Also, I think I just got everybody to join the team really late, hence why some of them were so low level and therefore useless. I never played Fear and Hunger, but yes, there's seemingly no coin flip thing. It also, I haven't played Fear and Hunger, but there's humor in Look Outside. Like, it's clearly dark humor. It's gross and unsettling, but it's intended to be silly. How the hell, I'm not gonna lie, how the hell did Painful Fate pull this back? I guess, well, Clinico's putting in work here. Honestly, I will say I got tricked by the big map art because, like, Painful Fate has way more health left than I thought they did. I thought Painful Fate was, like, on death's door here. It's like, look at that heart. This is one of the issues and one of the reasons why I still want the goddamn perma health bars in replay mode. I want to just let me check a box, especially in the replay. Let me turn it on and just immediately pop it up so it stays up. But yeah, if you haven't played Look Outside, I do recommend it. It's a fun game. It's really ridiculous. But the monster design is fantastic. Numbers greater than color splotches. Yeah, but you can't... The numbers that we have here are like... It's at least in the hundreds, usually. GG there, painful. It's usually in the hundreds. I mean, the hard health is going to be thousands. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Numbers, but it does run into that issue of, like, the numbers are big. I don't know. I mean, that is something you can turn on in, again, RTSs. Like, that's something that... There's a lot of features that should be pulled from RTSs for this game. I saw you put one in, Master Dark. We'll close the night out with that one. Do that next. Alright, another Painful Fate game. Before we move on to our last game of the evening, we got... Fetch is a good boy. Fetch is a good boy. Who's a good boy? I thought I muted my mic at work the other day. My dog came up. He was upset because my wife, like, went to the store or something. He's like, oh no, where's mom? Where's mom? And I'm trying to calm him down. Like, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. And everybody on the phone is like, who the hell are you talking to? Like, it's the dog. Relax. Good thing the reason I don't want to play Fear and Hunger is because you could randomly die just because a coin flip decided to. I mean, there's the mechanic for death in Look Outside. And a brain fart. Which, by the way, is it the same devs? Because I haven't played Fear and Hunger, but I've seen some videos for it, and they do seem kind of similar. It could have been maybe the Fear and Hunger devs were inspired by it or something, I don't know. Yikes. Recassowary, sort of. But the death mechanic is, you just get reset to your last save, basically. Which can be a real pain in the balls, because you can't save... Like, you need something that the game considers a quote-unquote significant event to happen, or you won't be, like, allowed to save, which is incredibly obnoxious. I don't know why there's a jackalope here. Also, why was the jackalope, like, horn behind the fire? Did you see that? So bottom line is that the Look Outside is rather forgiving on that front by comparison to a lot of games. So you'll get a game over screen, but it's just like, all right, you wake up back in your apartment, you get to do it all over again. There is one section of the game that I am dreading on replays. Technically, I guess there's two, but one of them is much later in the game, and it does not seem like you need to progress a whole hell of a lot. You know, like, you don't have to explore this giant labyrinth. You can just do the thing. And I'm going to look up a map the next time I play through for both. But the one section was just super obnoxious because it's like a repeating hallway sort of thing. And I was not tracking very well where everything was, so I was constantly getting lost. You can game over on the save screen. That's terrible. There are some funny things I've heard about Fear and Hunger, like falling in the toilet and stuff like that. Which is like, it feels as though some of those games are built with streaming in mind, where it's like, this will be a funny streamer moment. But if I I always think about games every time I see something that's like, oh, this is a cool streamer thing. Because it'll be funny when chat just laughs at them. Because chat knew what was going to happen, but the streamer didn't. And then they died. And like, it's so funny. All I can think about is if I played that game on the NES, I would have snapped the fucking thing in half. I would have gone ballistic. Because that was kind of a common thing in old NES games where it's just like they were built like arcade games just without quarters. So it was bullshit. And it's just like, well, you have technically infinite time, you know, to beat this. So we're going to make it so ball-crushingly difficult that you'll never actually want to finish it. Painful. What happened? Painful, you're getting cooked! Oh, well, yes, my understanding of things that are in Fear and Hunger is, like, you cannot really put that on stream. It's, what I meant more was that, like, that sort of moment. I mean, you can do that. You can do the arcade difficulty in even, like, beat-em-up games now. Some of them have a setting. Most of them do not. But you could just be like, well, if I die, I'm out of quarters. You know what I mean? It's not quite the same because it's self-imposed limitation, so I get it, but... Boop. I don't... This feels very risky. Are you just gonna heart rush here? Like, you lose both those phobies, don't you? Dude, painful. You do get a boop kill here, though. Unless you're gonna run. Alright, we're gonna heart push. Honestly, Fetch puts out so much damage. Fetch is a very high damage phobie. How do you think Fetch chews? You think Fetch just swallows things whole? Because, like... I do appreciate the reposition here to avoid the, Eradicate. Because Fetch only has a bottom jaw, and it's a massive underbite, so I don't think you could, like, effectively grind things, like, on the inside of the teeth against the concrete. GG. Well done. Also, Tony, you could just play a bunch of Souls-like. Like, that's the arcade difficulty games now. Or the Souls-like games, right? I'm glad I started early, because otherwise we were bullshitting so much, like, we almost didn't make it. This one? Alright, so is it the favorited game, Master Dark? Because this one, the date doesn't match. You don't have one. It's gotta be, because you don't have one that's on this date. Is it the favorited game against Bean? Yeah, you put the 7th rather than the 6th. It's a favorite one. All right. All right, last game of the evening on Rugged Footing. Master Dark, our hero once again. Fun little practice game with Bean before we knew what was round 2 map. Also, I love Ash now. Really. I mean, I've seen some cool stuff out of Ash. Seen some cool stuff. I think it's a Oh, it's obviously a time zone thing. Like, we've had this before where people have written a date, and I'm like, oh, it's probably just a typo. But it's happened so much that it has to be a time zone thing. Yeah, exchange rate. We were talking about that earlier. One thing I will say is that I love... This is actually really cool to me. That people are starting frenemies games to practice the map. That sounds weird, but the idea that people are actually like, okay, on this map, I want to do these strategies. That is really cool to me. I know Karst has said in the past that he didn't like the idea that, oh, well, it's the this opener, it's the, you know, like chess has that where it's like, oh, this particular line is the such and such play, or the blah 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 gambit or whatever. I like that idea. I think that's cool, and that it's a recognizable pattern in Phobies where it's like, oh, they're setting this thing up. Can they do it? Like, does the other person recognize it? And I think, okay, like if we had professional Phobies players to the degree that chess players are, maybe it wouldn't be as interesting, and maybe the combinations aren't there. I think there would be to create this level of variance. Maybe the combinations aren't there because the maps limit certain things, but we could set up custom map pools and stuff like that. Like, there are ways around it. I think that it can work. It also led to Bean being surprised by the number of games I sent. Fair. Training is really fun. Bean is a fun playstyle, similar to me. Same skill floor as me. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's cool that people are doing this, and it is engaging. It is a fun way to get the community together and working together, because it's like, hey, I want to get better. Let me go reach out to somebody, and we'll work together. That's what teams do and other things, so why can't it happen here? The thing is doing a thing, whether or not it has a name, it's still doing a thing. Giving it a name makes it easier to talk about. I agree. Karst's issue, as I understand it, was more that Karst enjoys the discovery phase and not the things being discovered, if that makes sense. Like, once they are discovered, it is less fun than the process of discovery. Which I can understand. I don't enjoy the discovery part. I enjoy doing the thing. It's like the difference between being excited about opening your presents on Christmas versus having said present. Whatever the gift happens to be. Being pretty aggressive here. Yeah, like, the issue is not the names. It's the fact that the things have been discovered, as opposed to the process. I've never been a life, like, enjoy the journey type of person. No, I want to be at the fucking destination. Bean is probably one of those who do the most training match. Only with me, we already did 14. Damn. The old Klopster play. Get the Ash? Alright, that was a pretty solid Ash play. I'll take it. I'll take it. You're about to get smoked by Akira. No, Akira's not live yet. Wait. Are you ahead here? I don't know. This feels weird because you're like... You do have 4 Phobies about to hit the heart. Bean had the panic point advantage. Yeah, I guess the math probably doesn't work out in Bean's favor to do that, but you could have... I don't know. I guess you got to set up for the Akira pull. I think you're missing the point of Karst's argument in Arizona. Maybe I didn't explain it very well. Do you not just lose werewolf here? I mean, werewolf isn't the issue. Bean has to... Yeah, you got to deal with the shit that's right next to the heart. Waka Flocka layer? I don't know if that's supposed to be referencing the rapper or that's supposed to be referencing Fozzie Bear. There was a funny ass set of gifs for fucking... It was about druids in D&D. And it was just like some dude running up to someone and airborne slapping them, like just diving at them and slapping them in the face. But the person diving was dressed in like the worst bear suit you've ever seen. It was just like clip after clip of like bear references. So it was like he ran up, it says, it was like waka waka motherfucker, and then just slaps him in the face, and then it was like a Paddington Bear thing, and then it was a Winnie the Pooh, and then it was a Yogi Bear, and then it was like with their various catchphrases and shit. It was so funny. You know what I'm talking about, Atona? Okay, like that, dude, that thing was so funny. I gotta find that again. Splat! Should that be the sound effect I use whenever, like, Noxious or other AoE stuff goes down like that? Splat. We got boop, we got yoink, and we've got splats. I know we were talking about random shit this whole time. I said that a lot tonight. Like, we're just... I was in a weird mood tonight. In a weird mood. It was very interesting, and I wonder how much of Bean's response, like... There were a couple points where it felt like Bean pulled back to defend because of the aggressive positioning from Master Dark here, and it may not have been necessary. Like, you might have been able to force Bean to pull off, but 4 phobies on the heart is a lot. And it's kind of leaning a lot on, hey, Akira can get a lot done. Oof. Kira can't get that much done when they're dead. This is a very odd spot because, like... Oh, I guess it's not odd. Because there is an odd number of panic points, you can have this conclusion. If this were an even number of panic points, it's almost a stalemate. It's not really, because I think Master Dark can set something up, and obviously you have the Clinico to back up a dive, where I just don't think there's enough damage if you position properly to really kill anything. There's an MTG combo that might deal infinite damage, but nobody knows if it should, because it requires proving there are an infinite amount of twin prime numbers. What? Isn't that like an existing proof that you could win money for, like proving that that's the case? There's several mathematical proofs that are out there that are still open questions of, like, if you can prove this, then you win $1 million or something. I know of at least one. I mean, I couldn't describe it to you, but I know there's at least one. I'm pretty sure there's multiple. I mean, technically, no combo in Magic is infinite. They're all just arbitrarily large, right? I always hated when people were pedantic about that. Annoys the shit out of me. GG! I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button. Pedantry aside, and math proofs aside, that's going to do it for tonight. We'll be back with more Phobies next week. Probably doing a Star Wars stream tomorrow from locals. We'll see how I feel. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot with Star Wars. Because I'm not having any fun. But that is going to do it for tonight. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Random Slots.